So what the request says, you can either do the audio versions of this song, or you can do the deeply, deeply strange promo clips from the 60s. You know which one I'm going to pick. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome to Leave Reacts. Hope everyone's having a good day. Bam. I know I am. Trying my best. As always, I'm here, so let's do this. We're going back to Pink Floyd, which you guys know, that makes me happy. Floyd is one of my favorites from this channel, which, you know, that's probably a pretty stereotypical pick as like one of your favorite bands, but from the stuff that I have listened to on here throughout their eras, like, man, they're in the top 5 easy. And we haven't listened to them in a while, and this is some of their most early stuff. This is courtesy of our patron Cortland. Thank you, Cortland, for your support. I truly appreciate it. We're doing 2 tracks. I think it's called Arnold Layne and then See Emily Play. I think that's what they are, right? Let me double check. Yes. And I think they're from 1967, at least the clips are. So obviously back then they didn't have music videos. They had promo clips like this, or promo videos, whatever you want to call it. I've seen some strange ones. I'm not gonna lie. There were definitely some Beatles ones that were strange. I watched some of the Monkey shows that were, whoa, a little bit out there, you know. But there's definitely some great psychedelic stuff out there that, you know, really pushed boundaries before they even knew there were boundaries that existed. You know what I mean? So let's go. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Patreon and PayPal if you want to help support the channel. That's the way to do it. And I'll link my Pink Floyd playlist up there. I've done a lot. All right, Pink Floyd, Arnold Layne. Official music video is what they're calling it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Arnold Layne had a strange hobby, collecting clothes, moonshine, washing lime. They suit him fine. On the wall hung a tall mirror.
What the fuck?
Distorted view, see-through baby blue.
That's Syd's voice, right?
He dug it. Oh, Arnold Layne is not the same. Takes two to know, two to know.
That bass is so cool.
Arnold Layne.
So I'm trying to listen to and watch at the same time. Was not expecting that. Oh, it's so short.
A nasty sort of person. They gave him time, doors bang, chain gang. He hated. Oh, Arnold Layne is not.
Now he's in pieces.
Takes two to know.
What the fuck?
Why can't you see? Arnold Layne.
It reminds me of like a psychedelic early Who music. Yeah, definitely like super psychedelic early Who music. Great though.
Emily tries but misunderstands. She's He's often inclined to borrow somebody's dreams till tomorrow. There is no other day.
That's not the part for some.
Let's try it another way. You'll lose your mind and play free games for me. See Emily play.
Whoa, that was sick.
Soon after dark, Emily cried.
What the fuck was that?
Gazing through trees in sorrow, hardly a sound till tomorrow. There is no other day. Let's try it another way.
So much life.
You'll lose your mind and play free games for me. See Emily play.
These are so sick, though. That's a staple. But,
Put on a gown that touches the ground. Float on a river forever and ever, Emily. There is no other day. Let's try it another way. You'll lose your mind and play free games for me.
they're a fun bunch. I like it.
Emily play.
That was excellent. I'm not gonna lie. it, it makes me want to hear like what his 70s progression would have been. You know, obviously they went with David, you know, and stuff, and they went in that direction, you know. But you just can't help it, like, kind of what, like, you kind of wonder, like, what they would have been like if Syd had stayed around, you know. And I'm kind of like, you know, I'm a new fan in comparison to most of you watching this video probably. So you probably have had these thoughts before of like, oh, what this would have been like, or, you know, because they went off in such an amazing direction anyway, you know. But, like, even if this was the height of what Syd would take Pink Floyd to be, which I don't think with the the instrumentation and the musicians that they're dealing with, and like the kind of psychedelic themes they play with as well, man, like, you know, if this was the height of what he could take them to, so be it, because it's really, really good. You know what I mean? But I can't help but feel that he would have grown as an artist as well as, you know, obviously they all did as, you know, as well. So I feel like the 70s stuff would have been just like even stranger and even maybe even darker than what we got from the rest of the Floyd material, you know, even though they've got some dark stuff in their catalog. That was awesome. I wanted to see exactly what the lineup was for that, like, because, you know, it's so early. Oh, it's the Piper at the Gates at Dawn. That's the 67 album. Yeah, okay. We did Astronomy Domini. I remember we did that one. That song blew my fucking mind. That song was so good. I totally forgot we did that one. That was so goddamn good. Just like these ones. So yeah, Syd Barrett, lead guitar and vocals, Roger Waters, Richard Wright, Nick Mason. Okay, yeah. So it's everybody but Dave, basically. All right. It's so crazy. Like, that first song definitely did sound like The Who from like the early, because it sounded like the I Can See for Miles and Miles, that album. I always forget the name of it. It's the radio album or whatever. I heard them. Side note, they literally were playing that song in the grocery store like 2 days ago. I said, "Are you fucking serious? Like this song rocks!" And like no one was even doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting there like I can see for miles, and I'm singing it and singing it. My kids even looking at me like, "Dad, stop!" Like she said, "This song's stupid." She was just being a 4-year-old, you know. I said, "No, it's not. This is freaking amazing." I was so happy that he was playing, but that song totally could have fit in a way on that album, but it has a way more psychedelic tinge. The first one does. But like there's like these little breaks, piano or synthesizer or whatever he's using exactly. Could be a Moog. I don't know. What the sound is kind of. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like got this like modulation sort of like feeling to it, but it's a very interesting, you know, instrument, whatever Richard Wright's using, and it's got a real late 60s vibe to it, but it just like sort of sits in the air when you listen to it, like the sound itself. And it's like, especially when it's by itself in the mix, like you can totally just feel it in your body, like, and you wish that those parts would last longer, you know. And obviously I like Syd's voice a lot. It does fit the era very, very well. I think that obviously Dave's voice and like some of the stuff with his guitar work, it's, you know, it's hard to say that it's a whole different band basically with him. You know what I mean? David Gilmour's David Gilmour, so like that's it's a whole different band. But the Syd Barrett era, especially the other stuff I've heard too, it's so different. But it's still Pink Floyd though. You know what I mean? It totally is still Pink Floyd. It's just like their roots. It's their early years, and they were, you know, still working out some kinks on what they wanted to do, just like every artist does. But you can't help but feel like this is just like got this purity to it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like this is 60s psychedelic rock at like almost I don't know if I'd call it the pinnacle, but it's it's a very interesting sort of like addition to the catalog of the 60s psych, because I've heard some obscure ass bands on this channel, and there are some bangers of psychedelic music from the 60s that bands that like no one's ever heard of except the people who've heard the songs. You know what I mean? Because there were so many bands back then, you could just like throw a rock and hit a great band in the 60s and the 70s. You know what I mean? But that was great. If I had to pick two, obviously it'd be those two. I'm just fucking with you. If I had to pick one, I would go with the second one probably. I like the CMLE play bit. I like the chorus of it. I also liked whatever instrument Richard Wright's using, obviously, because Richard Wright is a god amongst men. He is one of a kind. He is the hero of Pink Floyd. You guys can go watch my old videos. That's what I've always said. I will die on that hill. David Gilmour's right behind him. But Richard Wright is the heart and soul of this band. So is Nick. So is Nick, though. Like, it's so hard to pick and choose, you know what I mean? Like I said, I haven't really got to listen to them in a while, so if I talk a little too much, I apologize. I don't get to talk about the bands that I really enjoy that much, so you know what I mean? Like it's different than something new, which we're doing something new tomorrow. It's like a more current band. It's I think it's called the Black Angels or something like that. We got a new patron requesting that, so we're gonna check that out. So like I enjoy doing stuff from the 60s a lot, because it's like it might as well be 300 years ago. Like if you look at today and stuff like that. But the thing is, you can totally trace some lines from the 60s to 2026. No, because there's a lot of things that are in motion today that way before I was born. I was born in like the early 90s basically. So there's stuff that's been in the works before my parents were even born probably. You know what I mean? And like so like 1960 to 2025, 60 years. It's 60 years. It's a long time. You know what I mean? It's definitely a long time to us, but in reality, it's not that long of a time. But the world has like utterly changed since that video was shot, the promo clip or whatever. You know, like this guy's just filming a music video in a park, or just like a field or something. I don't know. Like, I definitely see people recording stuff nowadays all over the place, because they have, like, you know, like, as I say, you got God in your pocket these days. But it's more and more kind of becoming a creepily true statement in a way. If you guys, I'm sorry, this is so random. I'm going to end after this. Do you ever have the occurrence, because I have to just say this, because it's one of those just weird things. Like, you'll say something, and at the exact moment that you say something, or you read something, like on your phone, or in a book, or anything, and then it's the exact word is said somewhere else at the same exact time, or within like half a second or something like that. Like I'll hear it on the TV, and like my partner will, you know what I'm saying, she'll say something, and like at the exact moment. So it's not like one or the other's obviously, like, you know, the TV isn't going to listen to my girlfriend, but you know what I mean, like she's not hearing it before, sort of thing, and like they'll say it at the same time, or it'll happen to me, like I'll read a word and a word will be said like in a video at the same exact time. So like it's not like it's something that's happened once or twice. It's happened like probably at least hundreds of times now throughout the past year or two. And I just like, I'm somebody who doesn't like forget about weird little shit like that. I still remember weird little shit from when I was a child. Like I just have a strange memory. I'll forget to message somebody for like weeks on end, but I still remember like the strange occurrence that happened to me when I was like 9 years old in my room, where somebody came into my room and was like totally rifling through my shit through a locked door, and like heavy breathing, and it wasn't my mom, or that's the only person I live with, my mom. So like it was, and then like it just sort of disappeared, and like I stared at the wall for the entire night. I basically just didn't even move, bro, until daylight broke, and then I flipped over and everything was normal except one thing. There was a statue that I had just gotten the day before at the Lincoln Memorial in DC as like a bust of, you know, Abraham Lincoln, and it had fallen over and it had broken. So like, you know, there's just like, you know, I remember weird shit like that. See, like, you know, I don't know, like, what a strange time we live in. It's just weird stuff. Just all these occurrences and coincidences happen, and it just kind of blows my mind. And I'll leave it at that because, you know, Pink Floyd is a little bit of a psychedelic, trippy band, obviously, and I feel like the world's getting real trippy lately. You know what I mean? And with the rise of like high technology to us, high technology, all the crazy shit they have these days, like, who knows? They're probably already in our heads or something, bro. Like, they have to be. Like, all that ringing in our ears that we hear, you know what I mean? That must mean something, because it just happens too much. But I'm just off break, bro. I promise I don't smoke pot. So have a good day. Thank you again, Cortland. That was a great pick. I really, really enjoyed that. I'd have to go with Richard Wright as my favorite part, but it is interesting to kind of see or hear or extrapolate to kind of get what Syd and that version of Pink Floyd would have been in the future. You know what I mean? Because they were really freaking good. But could they have grown to have been more? Yeah, definitely. See you later.